is the story of the morning, and it may be the story potentially of the year, depending on how this all plays out. Elon Musk suing OpenAI and the company's CEO, Sam Altman, alleging they have breached the company's founding agreement by putting profit ahead of benefiting humanity. Joining us right now is CNBC technology correspondent Steve Kovac. We've been going through the lawsuit.
Wild.
It is wild to see. It also is wild because we were talking about what the outcome of this case could be. It's unique in that Elon Musk is one of the few people who actually has standing in some ways to bring a case like this.
Right.
But then you have to think about what the quote-unquote damages are, if you will, if you're a judge. He is seeking to open up AI or open up OpenAI so that it is effectively truly an open source situation.
So big news today. OpenAI, well, some key members at least, have fucked around and are about to find out. Most important to understand is that Musk is simply doing this in an attempt to ensure that the company that he personally recruited for and personally contributed substantial capital to, under the belief that it would be an open source, not-for-profit entity for the benefit of humanity, actually is that thing, because as it currently stands, OpenAI is closed AI, and also instead of not-for-profit, it's for-profit. I do not see how this ends other than a complete reversal of the way that OpenAI is currently working. And I honestly think that at this point in time, it will be more honest and accurate to refer to OpenAI as closed AI.
And to stop Microsoft from using it.
And to stop Microsoft from using
probably.
it. The question is whether a judge would stop that, or a judge would say, we'll give you back your $50 million initially because those are the damages to you personally. But it also means that we could get real discovery in the case about all of the things that have transpired,
including
and
the
how
board,
and how OpenAI has operated over these several years.
And what Microsoft knows. That's part of what they're pushing for, too.
Right.
He says that only, in the lawsuit, that only OpenAI knows what's in this ChatGPT-4, and they suspect Microsoft does, too.
And this is a thing that we've been talking about in AI, open source versus closed source. You have that European company, Mistral, who just raised money from Microsoft, by the way. They're open source. Facebook is open source. You have Google and OpenAI as closed source. You can't tell. One thing that really stuck out to me is part of the case against OpenAI here, the argument that Musk is laying out, is they've achieved what's called artificial general intelligence. AGI is what the acronym is for. They're alleging ChatGPT-4 has already achieved that. If you talk to OpenAI right now, if you talk to the folks at Microsoft right now, they say, no way, we're nowhere close to AGI. So this whole part of this case, or a good chunk of this case,
you think rests on that?
That's what it sounds like. It says we believe, or something to that effect, like just based on our outside view, they've already achieved this milestone of artificial general intelligence, thereby negating the deal between Microsoft and OpenAI, because their deal says once OpenAI achieves AGI, they can't use it.
I read the case differently. I read that, but I don't believe that the whole case rests on that.
No, it doesn't rest, but that's a huge argument.
If the case rests on that, there's actually a problem. I think that is a component part.
But it's the nonprofit stuff.
Of the case. I think that the other issues are, because otherwise, if you were a judge, you could rule against this case in about 10 seconds and say there's no AGI.
Yeah.
But if you looked at how they did it, they separated the issues so that is sort of one of.
It's the contract, right? I mean, it's breach of contract.
And the contract is the founding agreement.
Correct.
That
they post in there. Yeah.
That Musk and Altman sat down and agreed to, and I guess the sanctity of that contract is going to be what this whole thing is.
Exactly, determined. And they have to prove, and we know how the structure got changed. OpenAI, they would tell you the way we have it structured today, we're still a nonprofit. We just have this other division here that they call capped profit. What that really means, we've never quite understood. So that seems to be the division they're going after and saying this is effectively becoming the R&D version or situation for Microsoft.
Perhaps an analogy will help a little bit here. They talked about the sanctity of a contract. A contract many people are quite familiar with would be a marriage contract. Let's just imagine hypothetically that you've entered into a marriage contract, and given the fact that 95, by the way, literally % of my audience are men, I'll speak to the men in the room and the women can just imagine what it would be like. Imagine, guys, that you've entered into a contract of marriage with your wife. Your wife is called OpenAI. What a weird name, but hey, whatever. Let's roll with it. And one day, you discover that your wife has Microsoft's eggplant buried in the back of her throat. And after a quick gulp, she turns around and says, "Oh, don't worry, honey. I have multiple personalities." This personality isn't your wife, so don't worry. I didn't cheat on you. Contract's still valid. That wasn't me. That was the other me. You know what I mean? So anyway, can you give us a few more minutes? We're not finished yet. Bye. This is pretty much what's happening with OpenAI and Microsoft at this point in time. OpenAI was founded on the principle of being an open source, not-for-profit entity. And now, through some corporate fuckery and gymnastics, have structured things in such a way that they can claim that they're not cheating on you while simultaneously be deep-throating, well, as many other entities as they want. It's so fucked up. And I mean, excuse the crass analogy, but I think that really does make the point. This is going to get very messy.
The question I have is whether, if you're OpenAI and Microsoft, you actually want to settle this case. Because the truth is, and to me this goes to I'm of the view that this case is all about discovery.
Yeah.
This case has almost nothing to do with anything else except...
There's no money. They're not asking for money.
And therefore, if you don't want to participate in the discovery process...
Write a check.
The question is, what kind of check could you write? And is there a check that you could write? I don't
or just the rich...
Oh, by the way, just to be clear, for those who don't know the legalese, I shouldn't have even said that. That's the jargon. Discovery means making a matter of public record, private messages, discussions, emails, texts, and so on, from all of the key folks involved. Now, we've heard more than once mentioned now the idea of damages, and now world's richest man. Bro, this is not about money. Musk doesn't give a fuck about the money. What he gives a fuck about is that he helped recruit for and fund a company whose stated mission was explicitly to be open source and not for profit, to ideally align AI with human values to avoid some potential AI doomsday scenarios. And the company has completely inverted itself from open source, not for profit, to closed source and for profit. The antithesis of its founding principles. Again, this is the most heinous breach of contract. OpenAI is going through entire sports teams one after the other, to my previous analogy.
Richest guy in the world want to check.
No, I don't think he does.
Yeah.
And so then the question is sort of, how does this really play out?
And then, let's zoom back a little bit from what's happening in the case. Let's talk about what's happening in Musk's X world, right? He's trying to create XAI, which is it's a competitor to OpenAI. They have a chatbot called Grok. It's supposed to be unwoke or something. Fine, it hasn't taken off. He's trying to raise money. He has unsuccessfully been able to raise money. You can look at the
Well, we can tell how this gentleman votes. I'm sensing a little bit of brain damage here. The poor guy just doesn't get it. There's an insinuation here that maybe Musk is just kind of trying to slow down a competitor of Grok. You idiot! Why did Musk start Grok? Because OpenAI is now closed AI. Musk has clarified this, in effect, in responses to posts on X, including from people with 3 first names about this very matter. The reason that Grok exists is not to compete with closed AI's chatbot. It's because OpenAI is now closed AI and they're not carrying out their original mission. So Musk, well, fuck it. Somebody needs to do this. Shit. I'm going to have to do that as well. By the way, I do have to give some credit to Andrew Sorkin, who so far has actually made quite a few reasonable points. The guest there, not so much.
Camp of maybe of
sour grapes.
That you think this is not just sour grapes. Do you think that this is a cynical play to compete in a better way?
That was my initial read.
Okay.
Bro. Oh, man. Can you imagine being this fucking dumb? Does anyone get the feeling that this gentleman has not only received, but completely embodies the message that, ready? Elon bad! It's taking a wild guess. Am I wrong? It's just a hunch. But my hunch is that he certainly has the message that Elon bad.
Okay. Here I am, Elon Musk, the richest guy in the world, the hottest startup in the world is OpenAI.
Bro, this is painful to watch. 1,000%. He and every one of his close friends socially knows that Elon bad.
On Twitter.
I'm going to take the other side of that bet, which is I think that he fundamentally, at a visceral and personal level, feels philosophically frustrated with what happened in a way that, by the way...
Credit to Andrew Sorkin, who gets it, and very delicately pointed out that the guest he has on has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. It is so embarrassing to have these supposed experts, not Andrew, but the guest here, talking about things they know nothing about. To not understand Musk's character, his values, how important this is, the years and years of commentary around OpenAI becoming closed source but the desire to know and confirm that Elon bad. has clearly clouded this guy's ability to think or reason. It's embarrassing that he's saying this stuff out loud. Bro, come on, man. Credit to Andrew for calling him out. What an idiot.
Maybe right, maybe wrong. Meaning you could, maybe he shouldn't feel the way he does, but I don't disbelieve that he feels the way he does.
I'm sure feelings are great. Do feelings work in a case like this or in court? Maybe he can say I'm mad.
In this case, they might actually.
Right. And what could he possibly get out of in this discovery? What is he gonna? What advantage does he get out of that?
My God, dude. Again, I can't not. This guy's so dumb. He's just thinking from a selfish point of view, maybe projecting his worldview. I don't know. What does Elon Musk get out of discovery? Bro, he's trying to understand and prove that there's evidence that OpenAI intentionally breached their founding contract by finding ways to become closed source and for profit. What does he get out of this? What he's trying to get out of this is the right result for humanity. The company to be acting in line with its founding principles. Oh, fuck, dude. This is a great example, ladies and gentlemen, of why butthurt, extreme butthurt, can cause extreme brain damage. The poor dude still, what does he get out of it? Man, it's so hard to watch.
Than maybe nuking a competitor so his platform could get better.
Well, that's the issue that where I'm going with. I'm not sure it's about nuking the competitor.
And here we go again. Andrew's pushing back against this dullard without being as obnoxious as I am. Trying to say, bro, I'm not really sure it's about a competitor, you idiot. It's about the founding principles and the values and being open source, which it no longer is. He's not trying to get money. He's not trying to squash a competitor. He's trying to ensure that the company that he helped recruit and partially founded is acting in line with its founding principles, which was the whole reason for him getting involved in the first place. Oh, God damn it. Oh, shit. This guy's like a total NPC. He's just stuck in his Elon bad loop and he can't get out of it. He's not computing. And poor Andrew's really trying to get the point across. Anytime Andrew's saying anything about like his values and principles, it's just going straight over this dude's head. Maybe those are unfamiliar concepts to him. Wait, what? No, I didn't say that.
As a competitor, I think it's about nuking the company that he feels on a very personal basis that he effectively created. This is like.
Well, he's been taking credit since it became really popular. He's been taking credit for it.
And you're saying,
bro, I just can't deal with this guy. What an absolute twat. So if I'm understanding correctly, and it's possible I'm not, there's an unbridgeable gap. What kind of gap between me and this? Well, you guys can figure that out. I won't drop any clues, but if I'm understanding, his read on Musk repeatedly and consistently pointing out that OpenAI has breached their founding agreement, has become closed source, and that he's pissed about this. The fact that he was involved in founding and funding the company initially was specifically for the betterment of AI in an open source, not for-profit manner. His repeated discussion about these facts to our friend over here, who definitely isn't butthurt and definitely doesn't know that Elon bad, is in fact Elon taking credit for OpenAI since it's become popular. Fuck, dude. I don't think there's any getting through to this guy. Just no matter what, every answer comes back to Elon bad.
Saying that you don't think he should have taken credit?
No, he should. No, he was part of the founding.
You say it in such a very unique way. The reason
Andrew's fucking roasting this guy, but in a very gentle way. What's going on in Andrew's head? This guy's a fucking emotional moron. He's a gigantic tampon. Why have we invited a tampon to talk? I don't even know what that means, but it sounds right. Why have we invited a gigantic tampon to discuss Elon Musk? This guy's so emotional and irrational. He's just not listening. So Andrew, instead of saying that, because he's not me, he says, you've said that in a very unique way. I've got to listen to this again. It's fucking classic, bro.
Well, he's been taking credit since it became really popular. He's been taking credit for it.
And you're saying that you don't think he should have taken credit?
No, he should. No, he was part of the founding.
You say it in such a very unique way. The reason I'm making the point,
right?
It's literally, and I try to put myself in other people's shoes to sort of meet them where they are,
sure.
Right?
As opposed to staying in my diaper and just whining like a little bitch. Andrew's very good, by the way. He's masterful at not being obnoxious when he's trying to convey what's going on here. I guess I'm just doing my best to translate. Now, of course, only Andrew knows what he was really thinking and really trying to say, but it seems quite clear to me that Andrew's trying his best. I mean, the body language is getting quite animated. He's like, hey, bro, it seems like you're just emoting right now. You're not listening here. It really isn't about money or credit. It's about the founding principles and the values here. Are you not getting that? I really, really think it's actually about OpenAI being closed source and for profit when it was founded to be open source and not for profit. Hello, are you listening, bro? Hello? Anybody home?
Right? He's somebody who looks at this and says, this is my baby. Right? I helped birth this baby.
But he left too.
Well, he left.
He can't resist. This is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm going to stop interrupting. This is going to be a very long video otherwise, but I just... Can confirm. Elon bad. Oh, shit. Now, I definitely won't make any comments about fathers leaving because it totally wouldn't be relevant to this guest and the appearance. So let's move on.
Under very unique circumstances. Yeah. And by the way, against the narrative or against him, you could argue that one of the reasons he left was because there's an argument there was a period of time where he was even trying to turn OpenAI himself into a commercial entity. Remember, that's going to become a separate argument about this. But I do think that it's a very personal issue rather than a competitive one. I'm sure other people will have
it also feels sour. That too feels sour grapes-ish, right? I mean,
it doesn't really matter. If look, he can.
Bro, the level of butthurt here is absolutely next level. I mean, you can see it on the poor guy's face. Now, just to be clear, I believe what Andrew was getting at here without being so obnoxious, when he's talking about personal, it's because Elon personally helped recruit and found this company on important principles that have been violated. It's the violation of those principles that's the key issue here. This guy just can't give it up. Elon bad, Elon sour grapes, Elon bad, taking credit. Oh, this is amazing. By the way, there are people out there that actually exist like this NPC. Not many of them in terms of percentages, but they do exist. Seems to be no getting through. I feel bad for this dude.
Contributed, according to this complaint, it contributed $44 million to OpenAI between 2016
that's not
and September
nothing.
2020. It's not nothing.
No, that's real
and
money.
The question comes down to, does the founding agreement stand or not?
Yeah.
And if they violated the founding agreement, I mean, I think that's where the judge
it puts
will have
Microsoft
to go.
in a really tough position if this gets unwound, because Microsoft is so heavily dependent. I don't know if we have Microsoft shares on here.
And by the way, it may not be that it gets unwound. Maybe that nothing really happens, but it becomes one of the great distractions for OpenAI, for all of the clients who are thinking, do I want to be part of this or that? Do I want to go?
It's good for Google.
By the way, it may be good for Google. It may be good for a whole number of other AI companies. It could be good for even some of the stuff that Amazon's doing.
Yeah, exactly. Or Anthropic. I mean, this is a time for them. But
maybe there's a partnership they work out.
Could be.
So that was remarkably painful. It's quite interesting, by the way, when I see folks just seeming to completely misread the situation, especially relating to Musk. Same thing happened with the acquisition of X. It's an ego trip. He just wants... Morons. Maybe some of the other coverage in some of the other finance networks features guests whose vagina has a little bit less sand in it, shall we say? How outrageous. I can't believe I said that. Over to Bloomberg, who, judging by on screen now, we're not hearing from some guests, just two reporters. Ed, at least, does his best. Not always perfect, but he tries. So let's see.
Ed, talk me through this, because Musk, he has a history with OpenAI.
Yeah, I mean, the simple facts of here are that Musk is basically alleging that this is some sort of illusory promise to all of the original backers of the project, in saying that when we founded this thing, we agreed, one, this was going to be a non-profit, and as you said, for the benefit of humanity. It's going to be a really interesting process to see if there's actually any legal grounds at all for Musk to make that argument and what his sort of end goal is here. But I would note the history that Musk has using litigation as a means to send a message, frankly, or to, basically get a competitive edge, because, as you know full well, he also has an interest in XAI, which...
Oh no, here we go. Oh, fucking what an absolute clown. Sorry, Ed, idiot. The poor guy's grasping at straws here. Now, let's just think for a moment here. Are there any examples we can think of Musk and or any of his companies suing to gain competitive advantages? None come to mind. I can certainly recall a few occasions where they were forced to sue. For example, SpaceX sue for the right to compete for contracts, as in sue for the right to be able to compete, as in sue for the right to no longer have a competitive disadvantage. Very different than trying to gain a competitive advantage. I'm also aware that X is currently filing and winning lawsuits on behalf of users of X who are being fucked over and having their opinions suppressed by governments, etc. But this is the same guy All right, the same guy we're talking about here, the same guy that Ed's just suggested has a history of litigating to gain a competitive advantage, that was behind the decision in 2014 from Tesla to open source all of their patents, literally give away everything, and with the explicit promise, we won't sue you as long as you use these in good faith. We're just trying to help the industry transition to electric vehicles. Does that sound like the actions of a person who's prone to litigation to gain competitive advantages? Bro, oh my God. Some next level misreads here today. To be really clear and succinct, Musk is a counterpuncher. You fuck around and it relates to Elon Musk, you will find out. But he isn't going around here king-hitting people from behind, blindsiding them, attacking. He's a counterpuncher. OpenAI, to go back to the earlier analogy, have been making OnlyFans content with Microsoft's eggplant and rubbing it in the face of their founding principle, their hypothetical husband in this case. And now the hypothetical husband has said, all right, bitch, that's enough. It is unfathomable how poorly people are reading this situation. Whoa, OpenAI is a competitor. Oh my God, dude. By the way, Musk will clarify at some point. Likely he'll comment on this, maybe not as the case is ongoing, unless he ignores the advice of his lawyers, which he might do. And clarify, this is not about money. This is about the fucking principles on which the company was founded that they're currently in complete and utter violation of. It's nothing to do with competition. It's to do with the betterment of humanity. Hopefully, Ed has something slightly more insightful to add.
To all intents and purposes, hopes to offer exactly the same thing as OpenAI currently does.
That's what I find interesting. I mean, the fact that you have Grok, which is a competing product. I mean, what have your conversations in the past few hours sounded like around that point?
Dude, this is just, I just can't even. The whole reason Grok exists is because OpenAI became closed source and for profit. More than 1 year ago, some guy with 3 first names posted this. When is OpenAI going to rename to Closed AI? And one of his subscribers, I'm not sure who this guy is, what's his name? Elon Musk or something like this, wrote, good question. A kind of obvious clue that something was brewing. Now, this wasn't the first instance, and this guy with 3 first names was not fishing for a response from Elon Bad. Dude wasn't tagged, he just happened to come across this. But this is a critically important moment in time. This same annoying guy with 3 first names, about a month later, when Lex Fridman said that he was doing a podcast with Sam Altman of Closed AI, was asking, hey, anyone have any questions I should ask Sam? Same guy asks, when is OpenAI renaming to Closed AI? The shit's been pissing me off for some time. It's absolutely insane. It's outrageous that a company can be founded on certain principles, core principles that's in the fucking name, and then become the polar opposite of what it was founded to do. By the way, remember when Google had the motto, don't be evil? That's got nothing to do with anything. How does this even happen? I can't even talk. Hear that? That's how much it pisses me off. I can't even fucking talk, which is rare, in case you haven't noticed. I literally talk for a living. Anyway, after that quick distraction, back to the media coverage, and let's hope that they kind of start to get it. If they say competitor one more time, I'm going to lose my fucking mind, bro. This is how it's being painted so far from what we've seen here. Elon suing OpenAI because he also has an LLM called Grok, and he's butthurt, and he doesn't want OpenAI to be successful. Ay. By the way, once again, I've got to give credit to Andrew Sorkin, aka Jonathan, if you know, you know, for actually getting it, even though he wasn't quite as explicit in how he phrased it.
Yeah, I mean, one interesting development, you might call it, this morning is Chamath Palihapitiya posting on X saying, wow, the discovery process in this litigation is going to be so interesting. And Musk replied on X, the platform he owns, saying yes. But what we might learn here as a side consequence of the suit, away from its original intent, I guess, is, well, what happened the weekend that Sam Altman was fired, and what was at the root of OpenAI's board at that time's concern with him?
Now, this is true. Credit to Ed for mentioning something that's relevant and useful and interesting. It's true. Should there not be a settlement, and by the way, guys, I don't believe they will. Why? Because a settlement would just be, here's some cash. Elon doesn't want any fucking money, bro. He wants the company to operate the way it was supposed to. So the odds of a settlement, unless the settlement is literally OpenAI actually becoming OpenAI again and not for profit, about zero. But the discovery process could be insightful for the hoo-ha and the drama about Altman leaving OpenAI. I mean, there were rumors that OpenAI internally believed they'd created AGI, and if that's the case and that comes out in discovery, the shit's going to hit the fan, because part of the agreement is once OpenAI has created AGI, Microsoft can't use it. So rest in fucking peace. But more importantly, however, a point that Ed's not really getting at is we'll see discovery around how the whole fucking deal happens and how they raise money and this whole structure. In other words, the mental gymnastics, how the people behind the scenes somehow managed to transform an explicitly open source, it's in the name, entity that was specifically to be not for profit into a closed source for profit monstrosity with Microsoft's eggplant buried deep in the back of its throat. I mean, it's not just like that OpenAI made a little bit of cash on the side, you know, sent a noodle to... No, bro, they're slobbering all over the biggest of big. All right, no more of those analogies. I think you get the point. If you don't, good. I'll explain when you're older.
But at the end of the day, you know, OpenAI has been pretty clear about the trajectory it's heading on, that it wants to commercialize its technology, and it's tried in the weeks and months that have followed Sam Altman's departure to explain how the non-profit board oversees a for-profit entity.
Yeah, that sounds totally legitimate. And the board is overseeing a for-profit entity, but that's okay because... Yeah, it does make sense, does it?
And there are complications in running a 501(c), umbrella over the top of it. But again, I think, Katie, you and I, it's impossible for us to say, well, what is Musk really trying to do here?
Of course it is, because you don't understand the dude. It's... At least Ed's admitting it. Ed, can someone send this clip to Ed? Sometimes the dude, by the way, gets it right. Not always. Just someone send this part. Just timestamp this part. Hey, Ed, bro. The entire purpose of this lawsuit, it's not for commercial reasons. It's not for Elon Musk to get a settlement of cash. It's so that OpenAI becomes open source and not for profit once again, which was the entire founding fucking principles of the company. Musk, in case you haven't figured it out, is an extremely principled man. This is an utter injustice. Closed AI have spat in the face of their founding principles, become the polar opposite of what they were founded to do. The entire reason they were supposed to be open source and not for profit was to avoid a situation like this, where they're sucking from the teat of the world's biggest fucking company with their source code on the world's biggest company's servers. That's the actual simple truth of the matter. It will, again, I said earlier, Musk will make this explicit at some point, all the derps. Eventually he'll see somebody and he'll go, this is the reason I'm doing it, or that's correct. You know, he'll point this out. Oh, hey, it's me, editing Stephen here, and we'll get to this post in just a moment, but I kind of called it literally exactly that just happened. The guy just replied to some guy on X who explained what's happening and wrote exactly, so we'll get to this in a moment. Oh, and what's this? That's outrageous. Actually, I don't even know what that means. Could someone explain this meme below? And when you finish doing that, you can also explain why some guy called Elon Musk replied with a laughing emoji. I don't understand. Anyway, back to the video. This is editing Stephen signing off. But it's obviously difficult for Ed and his colleagues to figure this out because they do not understand Musk, his principles, his values, or his extremely long history of commentary on this very organization. One more time. This is solely about OpenAI, whose founding principles were to be open source and not for profit, becoming the polar opposite of what it was founded to be and do. And why does that matter? The reason it was founded in the first place was to minimize the risk of, let's just say, suboptimal outcomes with AI, in particular, eventually artificial general intelligence. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. All right. Thank you for watching, Ed. Back to the video.
What it will come down to is whether there's any legal basis in what he's accusing OpenAI and Sam Altman of.
Well, I won't ask you to read Elon Musk's mind anymore, but just in the 30, 40 seconds I have left with you, talk to us a little bit about OpenAI, because it feels like the fact that it's a nonprofit, that it has this mission for benefiting humanity, this is going to continue to be a sticking point for this company.
What? Huh? Did she just say that OpenAI is not for profit and has a mission of benefiting? No, that's what they were founded to do and be. I'm confused.
Yeah, I mean, a really interesting question that some investors raised with me after we reported OpenAI's latest valuation rounds is, why do they need to raise money? Why do we need to learn about the cap table? Microsoft owns almost half of OpenAI's for-profit structure.
But don't worry, everything's fine, because that's exactly what their founding principles said. It was founding principle number 3. Ensure that the company has a convoluted corporate structure enabling a huge portion of it to be for-profit, in effect the entire entity to be for-profit, and then allow the world's best and most wonderful, principled, ethical, honest company, Microsoft, to own half of the fucking thing. That was one of the founding principles, wasn't it? Oh wait, no, it wasn't. No, that was kind of the polar opposite again.
But the reality is that they have to make money and raise money because their compute costs are so high. They've kind of put AI as a generally available product for both the consumer and also enterprise and SaaS companies. And that takes a lot of infrastructure to support, and that costs a lot of money. So this will be an interesting sort of existential debate around how they can move forward long term without having a model that requires them to be for profit.
Now, it's true. It's quite the conundrum. How to scale an AI company that does require a lot of compute, ain't cheap, without being a for-profit entity. Now, my only guess for this, please, if you guys have ideas, let me know in the comments below, is to have deep-pocketed donors funding this project because they believe in the importance of executing it as intended. The alternative, of course, much more tangible in reality, would be for this AI project to actually be owned by a for-profit company that was principle-driven, value-driven, and had a mission of benefiting humanity. I can see a company such as Tesla and or X ticking these boxes. But again, the counter-argument would be, well, how do you know that they're not going to do the same thing? And the answer would be, well, trust me, bro. But I tell you what, as it stands today with Microsoft essentially owning OpenAI, running their code, just about any other company on the planet having that stake in OpenAI other than Microsoft would be a better situation than where we currently find ourselves in. Now, I get it. It's complicated, right? If you need lots of compute, where does the money come from? But of all the situations to find ourselves in, as it currently stands, this is possibly the worst. It may be necessary for such a company to be for profit, but that has nothing to do with the fact that OpenAI has violated its founding principles. To the previous analogy, just because your wife's no longer interested in you doesn't mean it's okay for her to be smoking other poles 24/7 and posting videos of her doing exactly that on OnlyFans to make a bit of money on the side while you're still in a contract. Regardless, I can say for sure that sucking from the teat of Microsoft to the tune of countless billions of dollars and letting them own about half the fucking thing is not the approach. It seems almost, dare I say, excessive. Excessive, one more time, excessive. But don't worry, I'm sure everything's going to be fine. Now I've got to wrap this one up. This has been a very long video. I know the NPCs in the mainstream media are trying their best, but they just don't get it. At least some of them. Andrew Sorkin, again, a big exception today. Round of applause. Well done, Andrew Sorkin, for actually getting it. But the majority of people just do not seem to get it. It just comes down to principles. Again, to the analogy with a marriage contract. If you enter into a contract and then you breach that contract, it's grounds for termination, right? Pretty simple. So when OpenAI is caught playing hide the sausage with Microsoft, time to file for divorce, aka Musk's lawsuit. It's as simple as that. Either way though, this is going to be quite the ride. Between you and I hope OpenAI gets completely and utterly upended, and I mean that in a literal sense, and becomes what they were originally founded to be. I too harbour deep concerns about AI gone wrong. I don't know the perfect solution, but I think that open source and not-for-profit is the right starting point. And the absolute worst possible scenario would be some of the world's largest and historically, based on track records, least, say, principle-driven companies on Earth having a huge stake in said entity. But hey, that's just me, some idiot on the internet who doesn't know anything. Grab your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen. This will not be boring. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. It's an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point. It's something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1 shit, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, snake oil salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links in the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.